Hello, this is Lisa Hazard and Misty Lohr with We Are All Psychic. And tonight is November the 21st. Am I right on that? I'm losing track. Let's see if I'm right.
Mm,
23rd. Oh,
let's
okay.
see.
Now we're off a day.
Yes, you were
A
off a few
couple
days.
days there. And yes, we were still
Mm-hmm.
in the year 2020, grinding on. And you know what, Misty? I've been thinking about this. I think this might be my last episode for this season. So
Ooh.
and it's all been season one. I think there's something like 38 episodes or 36, and I've labeled them up like in and out of 40, like probably some of them the same. I need to go back and redo that. But I really want to start a second season. And I think to end this season, I would like to talk more about how I want to have more words for the things that happen to us in the psychic senses and the magic senses. Something like want everybody to contribute. Like, come on, everybody get excited. Woo. But Misty, I would like to talk to you about that. I mean, have some words from you and talk to you about some words we already do have. If
Mm-hmm.
any of you are listening, you may have heard of clairvoyance, but you may have also heard of the broad term the clairs. A lot of in the psychic community, that's a commonly used term. And I don't know about other so much. Like that's the terminologies that are used, the clairs, the different ones, but they're pretty well known for what they are. Uh, I would say in Western culture, as far as I know. So, so the clairs are clairvoyance. Well, Misty, we couldn't decide how many there were like altogether. It's like what one website had like
I think we
12.
were doing 4 tonight,
Like
and then
clairvoyance.
and that would be the clear seeing,
Yes. Clairvoyance is
right?
like when if it's in a psychic sense, you would experience a vision with your eyeball sense, the way your eyeball sees things, the way your eyeball perceives an existence. You would see it with your eyes, and that's clairvoyance. And maybe and then remote viewing goes into clairvoyance. I think they're kind of the same thing. Remote viewing, if you don't know, is basically using clairvoyance to go look somewhere elsewhere from where you're sitting. And then there's
How did that work?
how does it work? I don't know. I'd really
Yeah.
like to, but now some people have a lot of theories on that. There's discussions about ley lines, LEI, ley lines. I think that's it, LEI. Or LAY, LEY. I don't know, spelled weird. I'll look it up. But it's like they cross the planet in a certain way. I can't remember much about them offhand. Some people think the information, like you can travel that way. Some people think you cross through the astral plane and that's how you get there. Some people think or say that you just look. For me personally, I can just look. I can close my eyes and just look. And I can't explain how to do it, but I can do it with my eyes open too. I see things around me still, but like superimposed on it would be like as though I were reading at a bus station. Kind of like that feeling. Or like
Okay.
if I'm reading at the park or a busier place, a mall, maybe in the 90s, yeah, reading a book on a bench. I'd
A
be like,
mall? What's that?
yeah, that's why I said in the 90s. And my boy, I don't know how to refer. I guess like if you're sitting on your phone at the doctor's office waiting to be called back, and you're just staring at it and you're not doing anything with it, but you just start having a little like daydream or something, or you're like,
Right.
I wonder how my husband is doing right now, and I might like zone out looking at my phone and imagine him somewhere, and it's not quite the same thing as imagining like him like doing jumping jacks and spinning around and using a hula hoop, but it's just like I just for a minute I'll just know what he's doing. I'll see it, if I look. Now I have
Like a
found,
flash,
yeah, like a flash.
kind of.
Sometimes I can be there longer too, and because it scared me for a lot of the time when I first started trying it. It's like, woohoo, was that real? Call him
Yeah,
up.
I
Were
know,
you just
right?
blah blah blah? No, what? Or sometimes yes, what? You know. And I
I
found that
bet it
holding, and
did.
sometimes, a
Yeah.
lot of times, they had been doing that and they'd done it a long time earlier or something. It was just like, but then I got better at it. But I found this, I have it right here. I might take a picture of it or something, put it in there. But this is a labradorite wand I got from a friend I traded jewelry for. And it's just, I don't know what it is about labradorite, but I can hold it and I can get there better. I can use clairvoyance better. It makes the third eye area, especially on the left in the front, really throb. And then it's like I can see things better. Like
It's called labradorite.
labradorite.
How do you spell
Yeah.
that? How do you spell it?
LabradorIte, labradorite. It's real shimmery.
Okay.
It's like a moonstone type
Okay.
of family. So it's like
So
feldspar.
that would help somebody if they wanted to start
It could
trying
be a
to get their
tool.
senses going.
It could be a tool for
Okay.
that particular one for them. That I didn't know that would happen with me. I just tried it and it worked better than any of the other ones. And I'd never even tried
Okay.
it. It just kind of told, like for me, when I work with crystals, that could be maybe something for season 2. When I work with crystals, it's
Yes,
as a tool.
definitely.
It's kind of different. The crystal tells me like how to use it when it's time. You know. But that's and then there's, as we see, a clairaudience is probably a very clairaudience is one of the clairs where you would hear something um that other people wouldn't hear. Like in schizophrenia, hearing voices is also the same thing as a medium hearing spirits to a lot of people, but
Mhm. Yeah.
mediums who only hear the voices, they don't necessarily hear it outside their ears, but they can hear it in their minds too. It's like a little voice. But
That
I
little
think,
voice.
yeah, that little voice. But for some people, it's not so little, and for some people, it's a whole lot of voices. And along with the people who are clairvoyant, if they happen to be seeing, for example, spirits instead of remote viewing, if they're seeing spirits as clairvoyants, or seeing, like, I turn around and I see you tomorrow. Say you and I are going to work tomorrow at uh or where would we work, Misty? We'd be world dominators, and we go to our world domination job,
Walmart.
and
We're working at
Walmart.
the Walmart.
We're working at Walmart, and we get there and we like, we gotta quit. He went off topic there. Giggles commenced, and then things were forgotten. With my experience from clairaudience, it doesn't happen very often. It's more of a sexless, toneless voice, is how I would put it. It wouldn't be. It's not like a knowing thought. It's a voice,
Mhm.
but I don't hear it outside my mind. Now, I hear all kinds of things outside with my ears. For the most part, I filter it out, but I hear all kinds, like things are falling in rooms and things are being tripped over, and I can tell the difference between what is uh, a psychic sense, a hallucination. I don't have those much anymore, though. Or if it's somebody in the house or a cat knocking something over in the physical world that I am conscious of at that moment. Because in some ways,
Yeah.
these senses, it's like living, and when all of them are very active, and I want them to be, and I'm using them. And people who work with their energy as much as maybe I do, or maybe you do, as conscious, as in your mind, as present in your mind. Um, it's like kind of being in a few different places at once all the time. And like, see, you're doing something with your hands. You got to do something with your hands, and it's somewhere that you're doing something. I'm watching you on the video. You like, she's
Mhm.
multitasking over there. It relaxes you, makes you think.
Yes, I am.
So yeah,
I
that's pretty
am.
cool. And so that's one thing that happens with clairaudience is, like, one time, let's say about 6 or 7 years ago, I did hear a very specific message when I met someone, and it was, I don't want to talk about what it was, but it was very shocking when it happened to me and what it said, because it wasn't usually scary stuff that I heard ever, like from the voice, and it wasn't about me. It wasn't meant to be scary. It was just a message. But what was scary about it at that time, I wasn't, I mean, that was, yeah, it was 2014, but, or 2015 maybe, but I felt then like I don't know, I've had a lot more experiences and I understand things better for myself since then, but at that time it was really really surprising, and it was just I heard the voice in my head, like, just and then now that I'm older, I don't experience it that way. Like, it's never been the same. If a voice comes in, it's like a guide, I'm asking for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been
Yeah,
able
that's
to
how
do
I
that.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally understand that because like every now and then when it happens to me, it's like you said, kind of like a guide telling me, this needs to be done or this needs to be said to this person. It's not like a regular thought.
Yeah.
It's a
It isn't.
there's a difference.
And it's not thought
You know, the,
insertion, it's like suggestion. So yeah, we'll go into claircognizance is what you're talking about, which is also confusing because it like a 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was like claircognizance was clairsentience. But I think nowadays they say claircognizance is more what we've been talking about, that you and I can both easily, or it just seems more natural for you and I, the claircognizance where you just know information and just drop,
hmm
like you were saying, it's not like a thought insertion, it's just like something, you just know it, it's dropped in. I
right,
always called it dropped
right.
in my mind, it was like dropped in. Bloop.
Yes, I love that. I love the
And
way you just put that. Yeah, because I've never thought of it like that, but that's perfect.
that's what it
Yeah,
feels
I
like.
love that.
Yeah, it's just information just dropped in. Eh,
It is, and and I've said this before. When that happens to me, when that drop of information comes, it has to drop out of my mouth ASAP, or I go crazy.
the
So,
messages, yes.
yeah. So I love that one. So
So,
okay, so out of all the Claires,
oh,
um,
we're not done with the
you
clairs, we've
pretty
got more, we have more clairs. I would like to talk about I would like to talk about the actual clairsentience where you touch. Unless we
did we forget that one? Okay, yeah,
yeah.
touch. I love, yeah, yes, I
Clairsentience
like
is a
that one
big one.
too.
They people who they will handle an object and get information from handling it. That's when
I
you
think
see
that's so
someone
cool.
like in the movies, may I hold this old pocket watch, and they have the pocket
Yes, or let
watch
me
and they're
see a
like,
picture and hold it.
they'll be
Yes,
like, there was
yes.
a man. It put, and they see. They usually have their eyes closed and they're feeling it, and they know. But I think for them, it's a lot of that is clairsentience. The information comes as claircognizance, but it's because they're touching it. So maybe that's where the crossover comes from for clairsentience and claircognizance.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
because that's how they get the information. They just know it, but they have to touch something to know it. I don't know if I've had that experience. I've had people
right.
ask me to do it, and then I've been able to, but I'd never just tried it. And other than that one time, and had the confirmation that I was picking up something. Since then, I haven't really tried it. I can pick up maybe energies of it,
You should.
but yeah, maybe I will. I
You
don't. Let's try
should.
it sometime. We'll practice. You and I can practice and see if we can do it
Yes.
with each other's
Oh,
jewelries.
you know what would be
Yeah, good
fun
with
is
jewelry.
like you could bring an object to somebody and say, "I want you to touch this object and tell me about it and whose object it is."
Yeah,
Just kind of practicing. You could do it with
yeah,
anybody. I think that would be fun to practice with.
that would be really cool. Yeah, I did it at one of Akasha's Dragon Prix gifts events when I was reading tarot, and this friend of I guess an acquaintance of the shop, a friend who was at the event, asked me to hold his ring and see, or somebody, he was a ring he wore all the time, and I felt it. And this particular person was always very cheerful, and there I felt anger in this ring, and I felt like I almost felt like I was
Really?
in Lord of the Rings, holding a ring, going anger there, you know. But it was like it's just like I felt it though, and there was a lot also the encouraging atmosphere I was in, because people were open to like man like if I were in college at a party and somebody asked me to feel the energy of their pocket watch and I could feel relaxed enough to do that and know what I was talking about, people will be like, oh, okay. That's different for, like now I can at, say, a metaphysical shop working there, or maybe with my friends, even like you and me, we could hang out and do that with jewelry. We could, you know,
hmm
do that with other friends, see what they pick up. And That's like something that's so different now. So here's some words we have. Here are some words we have. There's just a few tonight that we've talked about for the four of the clairs, not the
The
eclairs.
Clairs.
I'd love to have four eclairs, but I did that yesterday. I had four eclairs. I really did. It was wonderful.
Well, good.
Just oddly
So,
enough.
okay. So now that we've talked about all the Clairs, which I love that we're doing this. I was actually reading more about it, and they were talking about how you can actually heighten your senses with all the clairs in different ways that you can do it. And
Okay.
one of the examples that I read about was like picking, two or three flowers.
Yeah.
They can be in your yard. They don't have to be, any particular ones, but they need to be different. Three different flowers. And what you would do is you would pick up one of the flowers and just kind of get relaxed and close your eyes and feel the flower and like run your fingers over it and like I said, have your eyes closed, and I want you to like note the color, the texture, any on this flower. I mean, really feel it, and do it for a couple minutes with your eyes closed. And then when you think that you've got the feel of it, put that one down and grab the next one and do the same, and then the next one and do the same. And after you're done doing this, um, then you can go back and in your mind recall what each flower felt like in your mind, what it looked like, the texture of it in your mind without actually touching it, and then go to the next one and remember how it felt and looked, and so on and so on. And I thought that was a really cool exercise to do because you can do that in your backyard, and bring it in and do it, and
That's
that will
really
actually
cool.
help you. Yeah, and that will help you with your senses, and seeing, feeling, hearing, knowing, all those are involved in that, and that can help somebody that's just trying to get into it, and I'm going to
Right.
try it. I might try it tomorrow. And
So
you
the
don't have to
idea
do
is
it with
that
the
you fully
flowers.
immerse yourself into some object and situation and place and time, and then take that and remember
Yeah.
it and then relive it and feel it again, kind of, and that wakens those
Yes.
senses. Yes. Oh,
Yes.
that's brilliant. That's really
Yes.
nice. I like that.
But not only that, but you're getting like detail,
Yeah.
like how many leaves does this flower have on and what colors, and I think that on this exercise you're really getting into the detail of it, and you're
Yeah.
remembering the detail, and then you're going on to the next one. So it helps with remembering all the stuff too, as you're feeling and touching. You're using
Right.
all your
Right.
senses. um so I think that's really cool,
I think a
and I
flower
think
is
I want to try
perfect because
that. And
it
like I
has
said,
smell and has
yeah,
beauty and it has
it does.
it feels nice. And I mean, yeah, I love a
Yeah.
flower. And yeah, I've got lilies right here.
And I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not into flowers and you can't get a flower, use something
Rock.
else. Like,
Yeah, or a
but
cat.
make sure it's like something earthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a leaf or a pine cone or something like from the outdoors.
Yeah,
That
okay.
you could
Pine needle.
use.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, something that draws you to earth.
Yeah.
And that's a really fun, cool exercise, and that would be fun to do. Um, when we're talking about all these, I'm learning a whole lot as I'm going too, and so I was really excited about doing the clairs today. Um, but I think that my biggest one is probably the clairsentience, the feeling. Um, You know, because that's kind of like being an empath, is it not? It's kind of the same thing, you think?
It's do you mean the when the information's dropped in or the touching something?
But for the information for clairsentience, like you know, it's that's the one that's about feeling, right? You know, so is
Um
would that be like kind of like being an empath? Like I feel how the other person is feeling all the time. You know, that kind of.
that's one of the reasons I love you, Misty, because everybody's kind of confused on that, and that's one of the reasons we need more terms. There isn't an answer.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So they're
like
not really the same.
we don't know. I mean, that's people haven't. I don't know personally anybody who's decided that they are the same or they aren't the same, or that there's a similarity or there's a difference. This is just a confusing thing, and a lot of people. This is not like you know. There's no dictionary. There's no way of discerning the stuff. What you just asked is basically like kind of a mystery about how it all works. You know, is the feeling and the touching the same thing as having it drop into your info? Yes, maybe, but is it all empathy? Is every single part of this just branches of empathy? Maybe. Is it all
Yeah.
branches of psychic
Yeah.
ability? Maybe. Is it branches of magic? Maybe. Maybe they're all the same thing. That's a big
Maybe it's
question.
all.
That's a
Yeah.
loaded question, Misty.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
I know.
but
I'm
you
getting
know, it's
deep
like,
in there. I'm
yeah, I
getting
like
deep.
it. I like it. I like it. So yeah, that's a great question, but I don't have an answer. It's something I'd love to discuss further. And if you have an answer, do you have any ideas? What do you think? Do you think it's part of empathy?
Well, you know, I'm thinking they're a lot alike. Um, I mean, that was just my, you know, first impression with it. Because you know, it's feeling what other people are feeling. You know, you're feeling, you're all in your feelings. You know, and I know I'm all in my feelings a lot.
Yeah.
Um, and that's one of the things that when I saw all these clairs, I was like, yeah, that's me right there. Pa-choom.
Now,
Um,
let me give you a different perspective for a second. So say clairvoyance um is about seeing. I'm not very visual, but let's say clairvoyance for a clair that you may not realize you do as much as you do. Um let's say you wanted to know what your husband was doing right now. You could close your eyes and just see it. Probably just did it. Probably know exactly what he's doing. May have even seen something else he was doing, like scratching his head, or maybe he's sleeping. I don't know. I didn't look. I didn't. It's an example. So that's like something that he is experiencing, and you're seeing it from his point of view, or from an outside point of view of a guide around his, maybe, or some part of you that's always with him that can go see. I don't know how it works, but is it also part of empathy, even though it's eyes? You're not feeling, but you're having the experience the other person is having, or whoever. I don't know where you're seeing it from when you do clairvoyance. That's always been a mystery to me. Sometimes I've done some travel work before where I would find an insect in a room and then I could see through it to things that were happening at the time. But otherwise,
really,
yeah, that was pretty interesting stuff. But otherwise, I would have to, and I don't know. I think
I bet.
it's a lot of it is just imagination work, and trying to figure out like like figure out what way can I get around this obstacle I'm perceiving, or what is this an obstacle first of all, and if it is, how do I get past it? How is it my end? Is it their end? Is it some other end? Is it the rear end?
If I could be a
Usually
fly on
it's
the
a
wall.
rear end. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the same thing, you know.
I think your idea
That
for
saying.
I think where you that technique you offered was just great, and I think you could do that. So that going back to that example of like the flower, um, looking at it and imagining, remembering looking at it, it gives you that feeling. Because when you look at things, you feel things too, as well as you touch something, you might feel soft. Soft is like an emotion. You look at something and bright is an emotion. Oh, you have a bright face
Hmm.
today. Your eyes are so bright, and it makes people sound like they're excited, or. So
Of
I
course it
mean,
is. Yeah.
I'm kind of.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, is it part of like? Are they all this like one big psychic blob that has to be like picked apart and named? I mean, what is it? What's going on? No, you touched on a big nerve. Like,
You know
what is it
what?
all?
I don't.
You know,
I
not a
don't think we
nerve, not a
can pick it all apart.
neuron.
I don't think we
Yeah.
can
Oh,
pick it
why
all
not?
apart
Let's
and name
try. Let's
it.
try. Let's try. Come on, guys. Let's try.
We're eventually going to have a dictionary written.
Well, I have on the we'reallpsychic.com website. I've got forum, and if you go to the forum, there's a thread. There's like 2 topics, I think, and maybe 6 people have looked at it. But if you go there, you can like start adding to the dictionary on that website, and I'll put the link to the website in the description. But yeah, I started it, and I just put a couple things in there in that thread. And if everybody wants to add stuff, please do. Please go on there, and I just would love to hear what if it's happened to you. I think the only one I've put on there like that can come to mind was going dark or going gray. Going gray. I had a friend who used to tell me that when I'd go to the mall in the 90s
What?
with her.
The mall?
The mall in the 90s with her. After I get overstimulated, is what I think of it now, but I'd be like just overwhelmed and overstimulated from exerting so much energy just to keep up with what's
I
happening at the
bet.
mall and keeping myself not freaking
I
out,
bet.
sensitive, and
Yeah.
and then I just kind of just like bottom out, and I should be like, "Ooh," and she'd call it going
Yeah.
gray. She's like, "I don't know how to explain it. You're just kind of like if you were a color, you'd be gray all of a sudden." And so like I put
That's a
that in
good way
there
to put
for
it.
yeah. So I think people like I'm sure we all have like things. I'm sure you've got tons of things like that that you have like it could be a joke with a friend about this meaning this and explain something that a lot like other people would understand. So if you have something like that, I'd love to hear about
Hmm.
that. If you have a
Yeah, I
word that
think that's a good idea.
you and your friends will use a word for clairsentience, or if you and your friends use a word for like claircognizance or clairsentience or empathy or any of our magic or any of our psychic or any of our energy work words, hey, throw them out. Even if you think everybody knows it, they're not. Maybe they don't. I probably don't. So I would love to hear even the ones
I
that
don't
people.
either.
Yeah, I'm learning. Like there's
Yeah,
there's
me
there's so
too.
much to every facet of metaphysics, and the terminology is there, but it's not accessible to the layperson to the extent that it could be. And I feel it would be wonderful if it were. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And one thing before we wrap this up too is if you are experiencing, any of the clairs and you are new to this, but that, this is definitely what's going on with you. Um, for example, like when you said when you were younger and you were going to the mall, it would drain you. There are things that you can do out there to protect yourself from all
Yes.
that as well. And I just want to say one of the things that you can do is surround yourself with like a white light. For starters, it's something very simple. Just picture yourself, standing there with a white light completely, encircling you, and just concentrate on that. The more you concentrate on it, the better you're going to get at it. And that will actually be a protection, from all the negativity, that you might be feeling if you are, feeling a lot of other people's stuff. And also, if you believe that somebody's draining you, and they are. I know everybody's heard the term, a energy vampire. They're sucking all your energy. You can actually, if you know that person's doing that to you, you can actually imagine that person is surrounded with pink light. Is what I read.
Yeah.
I've not heard that before, but
That's
I was like,
cool.
well, that sounds pretty cool.
It makes you feel
So
compassionate for
I
them.
just
Yeah, and
want
they
to throw
don't
that out
want that.
there.
I like that. That's a really, really amazing pink because it is a compassionate color, and it's like
It
rose-colored
is.
glasses, and it's like they're not threatening if they're pink. Like, so
Right.
it's like it's really nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
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 That's
So
pretty
that's
cool.
just, something I was going to throw out there. If anybody out there is, having, problems and not being able to,
To be
think
drained like
straight
that
or,
and not get their energy
yeah,
back.
yeah,
And
because
yeah,
it's not fun. I've
no,
experienced, you've experienced it, and it's no fun to carry somebody's weight around, and that's
no.
basically what you're doing. You know?
Yeah, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I wrote a guidebook under the pen name Clara Masai. It's called Psychic First Steps, and it's free in digital format everywhere. I'll put the name in the description where you can get it, and
And
yeah,
it's a
it's
good
free
book.
on
I've read
Kindle.
it. It's
It's
really
really
good.
short read, but if you read the
Yeah,
chapter on empathy, I talk about the
it's good.
battery on there. I think the battery technique can help a lot people who just haven't figured out how to keep the energy flowing and get drained a lot. There's some techniques I wrote about in there that helped me to this day still. And I wrote that book, I think, maybe 9 years ago, 10 years ago, eight, was something like that. And it's
Yes,
very
I
short.
highly
It's
recommend
very
it. Yeah.
short.
Short
So
and
anyway.
sweet though. Get to the point. She gets right to the point, guys. She doesn't mess around.
Yeah, we talked for
Love
about
it.
3 hours before we started the podcast.
Just the usual, just the usual.
Yeah.
But I really hope that that everybody out there at least learned something out of this today. I know I did. I have
I did
not really
too.
researched a lot of this stuff, and I had fun researching it and then talking about it. And I think that we all experience at least one of these,
I think so.
often, don't
I think
you?
so. Oh, I definitely do. You can think back about all the different ways your day has gone, the different strange. Well, one good way to really associate what is strange for you as compared it to another person and what they would think is strange. And then so see what happens to them that they have found that is every day and see if it's strange to you. Where it's like,
Yeah,
really? With my husband, I do that with him. Like, you do that? Really? And it's like, tells you things that he thinks everyone does. And I'll tell him things I think everyone does. And like, no, no. It's just the way other people
I know.
think
Isn't
and the
that
way other people
fun?
see stuff. Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
other side of their perspectives. It's just
yeah.
the way they experience it through their
I
physical
love it
body.
too.
I know it's amazing to me.
Yes. It
But for
is. It is. And not only that, you learn so much,
yeah,
because your way of thinking is not just everybody's way of thinking,
no,
and once you
and
start finding
yeah,
that out,
and your perception
it's
itself is
endless.
yeah, and your
Yeah,
perception itself. Our perceptions are all unique. So if we have psychic
they
senses, like I
are.
believe we all do, then if I jump into your body and I am my mind in your body, I'm going to be perceiving maybe very evil. Everybody's like, well, what if red is really blue to someone else? Kind of that experience. Would I be in Misty's body and be like, whoa,
Mhm.
I feel amazing? I feel like I'm so awesome. I'm the most awesome person on the planet. I feel amazing. This is what it feels like to be awesome. So, it's just
We
I
all
would know
feel
maybe, or
different.
maybe I'd be like,
Yeah.
whoa, maybe she's just like very sensitive to cold air or something. Stuff like that can come through, and it's just
Right.
yeah, it'd be pretty crazy.
To walk in another one's shoes, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Misty, a million times, and I'll see you next
Thank you,
season. I
thank you, thank
guess
you.
next season will
I
probably be
know I'm
tomorrow.
sad, but
I'm getting into it, man.
I'm
I'm getting
sad,
into
but
it.
it's okay.
Hey,
It's
it's
all
only a
right. We're gonna
day.
come up with a lot more ideas.
Oh yeah, there's never ending ideas for one,
No,
ever.
there's not. There is not.
And everybody, I just want to say I really appreciate the support that you have given me and Misty through this process of us setting up and trying to figure out what we're doing and where we're heading. And I think it's a good direction. I hope you
I
stick
do
with us.
too.
Should have an episode out within the week. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.